In the dust of modern-day Iraq, a song that had been silent for 3,000 years is being heard once again. It's a hymn of praise to a city that was once the glittering center of the world, Babylon. For millennia, this poem existed only as a ghost, shattered into countless clay fragments and scattered across the globe. But now, thanks to an extraordinary partnership between ancient history and futuristic artificial intelligence, we have pieced it back together. Today on G Fun Facts Online, we're going to listen to the story of this resurrected voice and explore what it reveals about one of history's most legendary civilizations. Let's set the scene. We're in ancient Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates. This is the cradle of civilization, where writing, laws and cities were born. And the crown jewel of Mesopotamia was Babylon. Around 1000 BCE, an anonymous poet composed a magnificent 250-line hymn to this great city. It celebrated its towering architecture, its vibrant culture, and its chief god, Marduk. But empires fall, Babylon faded, and its knowledge, inscribed on clay tablets, was buried by sand and time. The hymn was shattered. Imagine taking a book, tearing it into hundreds of pieces, and then scattering those pieces in museums from Baghdad to London to Berlin. That's the challenge that faced modern historians. The writing itself is a major hurdle. It's called cuneiform, one of the earliest systems of writing. It's not an alphabet like we use. It's a complex system of wedge-shaped marks pressed into wet clay with a stylus. There are hundreds of thousands of these cuneiform tablets sitting in museum collections worldwide. They contain everything from epic poems and royal decrees to shopping lists and school lessons. The problem? There are only a few hundred people on the entire planet, known as Assyriologists, who can read cuneiform fluently. The vast majority of these ancient documents are a closed book, a library of secrets we can't access. And it gets even harder. Most tablets aren't whole. They're broken fragments. For over a century, the work of an Assyriologist has been like trying to solve the world's most difficult jigsaw puzzle. You might find a small piece of a tablet in a drawer in Istanbul, and then 20 years later, by sheer luck and incredible memory, you might recognize a matching piece in a collection in Philadelphia. You'd have to remember the unique break pattern, the specific handwriting of the scribe, the phrasing of the text. It's a process that relies on immense dedication, a photographic memory, and a healthy dose of pure chance. One scholar might spend their entire career trying to connect just a handful of fragments. This was the monumental, almost impossible task required to resurrect the lost hymn to Babylon. But what if you could give a single researcher a perfect, photographic memory of every known fragment on Earth? What if you could build a machine to do the puzzle solving for you? That's exactly what a collaborative team of researchers from the University of Baghdad and Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich set out to do. This revolutionary project, called the Electronic Babylonian Library, has a simple but incredibly ambitious goal: to create a digital copy of every single surviving cuneiform tablet. Since 2018, they have been painstakingly photographing and scanning thousands of these ancient artifacts, creating a massive online database. This digital archive is the foundation for the real game changer, an artificial intelligence platform developed at LMU's Institute for Assyriology, led by Professor Enrique Jimenez. They call it the Fragmentarium. Think of the Fragmentarium as the ultimate Assyriologist's assistant. Its algorithm is designed to do what the human brain struggles with at this scale. It sifts through the entire digital collection of tens of thousands of fragments. It doesn't just look for words. It analyzes the context, the patterns in the text, and even the sequences of signs. The AI can cross-reference a single new fragment against every other known fragment in a matter of minutes, looking for potential matches. It's a pattern recognition powerhouse. It can see connections that a human might miss over a lifetime of study. And it was this revolutionary technology that was unleashed on the mystery of the lost hymn. The AI began to churn through the data, and soon it started finding hits. A fragment here, a piece there. It identified and proposed connections between over 30 different clay tablet fragments that contained parts of the hymn. Some of these pieces had been unearthed from the ancient Sippar library in Iraq, but others were scattered far and wide. I was reassembling a ghost. Professor Jimenez estimates that piecing these specific fragments together using traditional methods, relying on memory and luck, would have easily taken several decades. The AI did the heavy lifting in a fraction of the time, presenting the human experts with a nearly complete puzzle, ready for them to analyze and translate. So, the puzzle was solved. The voice was resurrected. What does this 3,000-year-old hymn actually say? The results are spectacular, offering a rare and deeply poetic glimpse into the heart of Babylonian society. First, we learned about its role in education. The fragments dated from the 7th century all the way down to the 1st century BCE. This tells us the hymn was incredibly popular and enduring. For at least 500 years, Babylonian schoolchildren were tasked with memorizing and copying this 250-line ode. Imagine that. This wasn't just some obscure religious text. It was a foundational piece of their cultural identity, something every educated person would have known by heart, like a national anthem or a classic piece of literature. The content of the hymn is where things get truly fascinating. Much of Mesopotamian literature that survives is focused on kings, wars, and myths, but this hymn spends a remarkable amount of time describing the natural world and the city's relationship with its environment. It paints a vivid picture of the Euphrates River, bringing the bounty of spring floods, which were essential for agriculture. The text describes how the river's arrival turns the fields a vibrant green and causes the corn to pile up in heaps. This focus on natural phenomena, described with such poetic detail, is exceptionally rare. It shows us a society that was not just a collection of mud brick buildings, but one deeply connected to the rhythms of the natural world that sustained it. But perhaps most surprisingly, the hymn reveals a side of Babylonian values we rarely hear about. We often think of Babylon in terms of the Code of Hammurabi, an eye for an eye, a strict, legalistic society. But this hymn sings a different tune. It praises the city for its kindness to foreigners. It speaks of the importance of releasing prisoners and ensuring justice for all. It highlights the sanctity of orphans, emphasizing a social responsibility to care for the most vulnerable. This paints a much more compassionate and nuanced picture of their ethics. The hymn was sung to the city's patron deity, Marduk. But Marduk isn't just portrayed as a mighty warrior god. Here, he is hailed as the architect of the universe, who explicitly protects the weak and vulnerable. The values the city celebrated, kindness, justice, mercy, were seen as divine principles, championed by their chief god. And there's one more detail that has scholars buzzing. The hymn provides a surprising insight into the role of women. It specifically mentions a group of celibate priestesses who also served the community as midwives. This is a fascinating detail. It suggests that these women held a respected and vital role in society, one that combined sacred duties with practical, essential healthcare. It challenges the often oversimplified view of women's roles in the ancient world and adds a new layer to our understanding of Babylonian society. The successful reconstruction of the hymn to Babylon is more than just one incredible discovery. It's a landmark moment, a testament to the transformative potential of AI in archaeology and history. This isn't about robots replacing historians. As Professor Jimenez is quick to point out, the AI is a tool. It's an incredibly powerful tool that augments human scholarship. The AI can rapidly analyze every known version and fragment of a Babylonian text, something no single human could ever do. This allows the human experts to work faster, to see the bigger picture, and to focus their unique skills on interpretation, translation, and understanding the cultural context This project is a flagship for a whole new field, digital archaeology, and it's happening everywhere. Similar AI-driven projects are working to translate thousands of other cuneiform tablets, unlocking that vast library of secrets. In Italy, AI is being used to try and read the text on the Herculaneum scrolls, papyri that were carbonized by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius and are too fragile to unroll. The AI is trained to detect the faint traces of ink on the charred surfaces from 3D scans. Elsewhere, another AI program is helping scholars restore damaged Latin inscriptions from the Roman Empire, filling in the gaps in broken stone monuments. What all these projects have in common is that they are not just translating words, they are reassembling lost narratives. They are giving us a clearer, richer, and more detailed understanding of ancient cultures. They are correcting old assumptions and revealing aspects of daily life, belief, and society that we never knew existed. The rebirth of the Babylonian hymn is a powerful symbol of this new era of discovery. It now stands alongside literary giants from Mesopotamia, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, adding a new classic to the canon of world literature. Thanks to the tireless work of researchers and the innovative application of artificial intelligence, a voice once silenced by the crushing weight of millennia can now be heard again, singing the praises of a city that was, for a time, the center of the known world. It makes you wonder, as technology continues to accelerate, what other ancient voices are out there, waiting in the dust, ready to be resurrected and to tell us their stories. That's all for this episode of G Fun Facts Online. We've journeyed back 3,000 years to hear a song from ancient Babylon, brought back to life by a digital scribe. The past is speaking, and for the first time we have the tools to truly listen. Thanks for tuning in.